Konnichiwa! I tried. I did my best version of it. Good morning. Good afternoon. Don't say good night yet. This is going to be a fun episode. The bear market's been tough. I've actually resorted into backsliding from my journey into crypto back into my previous profession, the never-ending journey to become a Pokemon master. You got to catch them all or catch a few of them, nobody wants to catch like 7 level 4 Pidgeys. Am I right? If you know anything about Pokemon, if you've used to dabble in it 20 years ago or so. I want to get my base 1 first edition Charizard back. I need to get it out of the pawn shop because it's currently using my stake interest right now. It's kind of conflicting with that, so I'm going to work on that as well. I just want to be full disclosure with what I'm going through in this bear market. All right, I broke character. None of that's true, but today is still going to be a special episode. Not only if you're a fan of Pokemon, you're going to love it. If you're not a fan, then you missed out a long time ago in your childhood, I guess. Today we have Wells, and he's going to tell you whether he's a fan or not. He gave me a hint, but I'll let him explain for sure. He may be able to discuss his potential pivot into whether he'll try his luck in the Johto or Kanto regions. As well as what his favorite Pokemon is, and if he can still afford anecdotes, Ultra Balls, evolution stones, things like that. Let alone rare. Actually, with Wells, it may be rare candy. That may be his I could see Wells having like 99 rare candies just always on the game, always. I gotta know. No one who knows what I'm talking about is just like, what is he talking about? Anyways, all right. Without further ado, Wells only, everyone.
What's up, bro?
How
you doing?
You're live.
Yeah, what's going on, brother?
I'm just trying to grind, man. I'm trying to, I went over the sad story about the pawn shop deal, and nobody seems to care. So
yeah, it's tough, man. It's tough out here, especially when everybody's bored.
They're bored. They want to trade coins outside the ecosystem. Do whatever you want. I don't tell you what to do with your money, but I know what the good plays are. I know what the better plays are.
Right. It's kind of interesting, right? Because this is actually the exciting time. This is when everybody should be focused on HEX.
That's what you should look forward to. You should look forward to the bear market in a lot of ways.
Right. Because that's how you actually make all those X's. You don't make them while they're happening. You make them before they happen. And that's the fallacy of the market, right? People get it confused.
Launch time and bear markets, would you say, are the best opportunities for getting in?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah. Everyone's like, I got to get in first in launch. Got to go in launch. And they're like, But we just handed you a 95% discount. Oh, no. I want to buy new coins at launch, that kind of thing.
Yeah. I don't get it. But, hey, when people don't understand the process that they're going through, because that's ultimately what it is, right? Investing is a process, because you don't achieve your goal in a day, in a year, in a month, in 10 years. You don't. And, it takes time to realize that that's what's going on. This is what's going to bring sophisticated money to HEX. The people that are already in HEX were smart enough to figure it out. Everybody else, it either is or isn't. Because the price is going to be the determinant, right? Because everybody's like, oh, this has already been around. Let me go look elsewhere. Outside of the price.
Is that one of the biggest tragedies in crypto, is that people get tired of something that's 2.5 years old, and they're always looking for that new shiny object? Is that?
I think that's common to everyone in every aspect of everything. It's called shiny thing syndrome, isn't it? Something like that.
Shiny object syndrome, yeah.
Shiny object syndrome. There you go. Yeah. So I don't think it's unique to crypto. I think it's unique to human being and the human psyche. And this is why, in reality, humans are not wired for investing or trading or whatever. The masses of people that are out here trying to get it, really are not. And the reason is because they're not wired to. And how do I know this? Because it took me a long time to figure it out, because I had no teacher. I had to learn it raw. There wasn't an instructor there saying, do this, do that. This is what you got to do. And you do what you got to do in the bear market. Yeah. Not before and not after. You know, this is the point. This is like launch time, right? This is like the time that HEX launched 95% did. Buy now, not later. Like people are gonna be sick in a year from now. They are.
Well, I think they're going to hand wave it away and pretend like they didn't have the opportunity. But if they were to think about it, yes, they may be sick. That's true.
Yeah, they are gonna be because they don't understand how this shit works. They really don't.
I think that's, I think I saw this, did some research too, of course, on mental models, a lot of different shiny object syndrome, stuff like that. I really think it comes down to humans being like, we primitively, we want, like, we're geared to do short term. We're geared to, the food is there, eat it now. Because, when we first started existing, we first started walking upright, all that stuff, it was survival. And yeah, it's kind of like touched on your point. Like it is this thing of like, we're not designed to like thrive like that. That's almost like if you and I and other people who kind of get this type of delayed gratification and long-term thinking and stuff like that, if we existed, I mean, I guess we have to have other attributes. We have to be like really strong and fast and all these other stuff. We may not survive in the first eons of civilization because of that. It's almost like a defect, but a defect that's useful in today's world.
Well, I think it's easy to default to that defect because, from my point of view, looking at history, every human on the planet doesn't operate that way. And that's something that I also learned over time. So it's just the culture of the West that has driven people to function that way. That is actually not a human trait. Because if you look at the East, people over there know how to exercise patience. In fact, it's part of their philosophical makeup. So that's not in case, it's just not true. So I think that there's just a lot of misunderstanding of what we are as human beings because we're led by pop culture and not our minds. Everybody gets led by trends and nonsense like that. They don't get led by education and what makes sense, what doesn't, and strategic thought, analytical thought. People are not led by that. So, I think we need to do a better job of ensuring that when we relay these kinds of concepts, we relay that as well so people can check themselves and think, am I being strategic? Am I being thoughtful? Am I being analytical? Because look, it's easy to just buy a fucking coin, bro. It's easy to just click buy. It's easy to find the newest thing and click buy. That's easy. That doesn't mean that that's the right thing to do. Because what's happening is that, again, the whole thing of this thing called investing, what are we doing? We're trying to increase our net worth over the long term. Period. That's what we're doing. It doesn't matter if you're trading or investing. That is what you're doing. The only difference is your specific time frame, right?
Yeah.
That's it.
And most people's is tomorrow.
Yeah. Most people think they're going to squeeze the market for a nut today, and it doesn't work that way.
It's like when can I, like the whole mindset, when can I sell it? When can I sell it? Like that switch is just I did want to mention too, I did see I don't know if you have you heard of what if list, the YouTube channel What If List?
No.
It's like what if alternate history guy. He does a lot of really good videos on culture and stuff. But anyway, when you were talking about the Eastern culture and how maybe they practice patience and delayed gratification more than the Western culture, for example. He even brought up a point. I was watching a recent video about genetics playing a part in that, perhaps, where maybe part of the genetics is, if you're farming, rice fields, things like that.
Sure.
It's survival instinct is to like not take a lot of risk. You need you mess up, your harvest is gone. You're gonna starve.
Yeah. You got to do it in a smart way and try to make a better planning season process and all of that good stuff, right?
Yeah. I wonder if like certain parts of the world genetically are predisposed to more risk taking versus other parts. I think
so this is interesting. You mentioned that, right? Because it just so happens that the same folks that I'm talking about delaying gratification are the same folks that are running Macau. So clearly, that's not the case. See what I mean?
Interesting.
Yeah, I got all the wrenches you need, baby. I'm telling you, this game, I know it well. It's about your aptitude to understand the flow in the ocean. If you can't grasp the waves, you can't ride them. We're all surfers in this market. And if you're not riding the right wave, you get left behind. You sink. You don't swim because there's
The crash
always
analogy.
waves. Yeah. There's always waves, right? Markets always go what?
Yeah.
Up and down or sideways. That's it. They don't do nothing else. Right now, we're just going sideways.
So fun. But opportunity.
That's right. This is the fun time because you're going to look back and be like, damn, I wish.
Honestly, I don't think I'm going to play devil's advocate. I don't think many people are going to say that. I think they're literally going to tell themselves, "You did the best you could," and forget about it. And I'm going to do the same thing next bear market. I hate to be like direct about it, but I think that's
Hey,
what.
man.
Well, I don't think most people are going to learn.
Entirely
Like,
probable. Entirely
unfortunately,
probable.
I
Yeah,
want them
entirely
to,
probable.
but I think that's
Sure.
what's going to happen.
That's why we do this, isn't it? This is why I do it. I don't do it to,
Yeah.
to lie to people. I'm not selling nothing.
What are you selling, Wells?
Yeah,
What are you
exactly.
selling me?
I'm being serious.
Yeah.
It's a serious topic because everybody wants financial freedom. Everybody wants that. How do you attain it? There's been many times, man, where I made money fast, but guess what happened? I lost it just as fast.
Yeah.
Because I didn't understand both sides of the coin, risk taking and risk playing.
Well, I think on your people want financial freedom. So what I've been I don't know trying to popularize this concept of like want versus need too. I really feel like this is meaningful.
Well, we sure as hell need financial freedom. That's for sure.
Well, I think that's why most people don't get it. They don't need it. They want it. They talk about it. It's nice to have, but they don't
truly
need it.
desire it.
They don't make it like a top. They don't make it their one or fighting for two priority. It's kind of like number 5. Oh, it'd be nice to get rich in crypto.
Because they don't make the
who
time
doesn't want
for
to be rich?
Yeah,
They don't put into work. They don't
educate
need
themselves.
it.
Yeah,
Hey, I need it. You need
You're
it.
right about that. Yeah. I sure as hell act like I need it 24/7. Even when I'm asleep, I'm thinking about this shit.
Yeah, not in like a desperate way, not in like I'm gonna cry way. It's like I'm doing everything I can to get it. I need it.
Yeah.
If you need it like you need it. Like I was on.
I'm always second guessing what I'm thinking and what I'm saying on these streams. What if I'm wrong?
Yeah.
A lot of people listen to me. I got to think about.
That's why we don't give financial advice.
Well, even though we don't.
I love that out.
Yeah, even though we don't, that's not true, right? And that's something that everybody has to take to heart because that's a fact.
I know.
People are still listening. They're still saying, okay, that makes sense, even though they don't realize that it might or might not because they're learning also. And this is why when I learned this as I was learning myself and I was learning from those that were talking on TV. Over time, you realize, hold on, the world is ending.
Sorry.
Over time, you realize that they're just playing a role. They're just acting. I'm not an actor.
Made me think of non-player characters, NPCs.
Correct. Too. Yeah. They're just there doing their part.
And Nostradamus. Now you got me thinking about Nostradamus. You said TV. You said research and TV. Now you got Nostradamus on the mind.
There you go.
That's a true story.
Yeah.
That's a true story about watching Nostradamus when I was a kid. That guy.
It's it's part of the game of life, and we have to play within that reality, whether we want to or not. So you either want to win or you want to lose. Up to you.
Well, Scivive described you as the Mr. Robot of crypto. How would you respond to that?
Really? That's cool, actually. I love that show, man. That dude is the shit. Ain't nothing he couldn't fix, right?
Great show.
Yeah. There was nothing that guy couldn't hack.
that would be a compliment, I think. Yeah, I think it would be.
Yeah. I'll take it as a compliment for sure.
All right, it's been said now. There you go. Yeah. You have been described. It is now happening.
Take it. I'll wear that. Yeah, that's no problem. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I really try to go ahead, man.
No, go ahead. I was going to get to a question, but go ahead.
Oh no, I was just saying I really try to give people, the best information because everybody is trying to find success. Nobody's trying to fail.
Some baller streams.
Well, thank you. I'm just trying to share, valuable information, man.
People appreciate it. You can see by the number of people who show up, support you.
I get a lot of views. I do appreciate it. I get a lot of positive commentary left over as well. So I appreciate everything. This community is the best because when you're out there doing what you're supposed to do, they're all in. They're all in with you. Yeah. You don't have to second guess yourself. And, that's one of the things that's hard for people when they find a community that's actually good. They don't realize how it works. All I gotta do is say, "Hey guys, I'm doing this." Everybody's like cheering, yeah, you know, whatever. And it's the same thing for everybody. Everybody gets the same kind of love. It's not unique to me. As long as you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, people are gonna back you. That's what I see. So,
Well, I'm gonna stroke your ego one more time and say that I think you're one of the most important people in crypto and definitely in the Hex community. Just straight up, I think so.
I appreciate that. I mean, again, you know, I'm just trying to share useful information, man. And every day shit changes. And because every day things change, you know, that information changes and people need to be aware. And I'm just a person that naturally follows that information. You know, I've spent a long time really rewiring my whole psyche. Just everything that I do revolves around that. I mean, I really didn't rewire that much, but it's just a matter of, come on, just a matter of, you know, that's who I was. And you got to find who you are. And it was just that process because I do it effortlessly. You know, it's not like I really have to go out of my way. It's just, this is what I do. You know, just like people mountain bike. You know, some guys are freaking archers, right? Like some people just do the weirdest things well. I'm one of those people, and information distribution is one of those things that I try to do well because we're all looking for this information, whether we know it or not.
Yeah.
And I think that's the biggest thing because I remember when I first came up on people that were like me back in the day. You know, it was like a godsend. I was like, oh my God, I didn't realize there were people out here that were looking at this stuff too.
Yeah.
Because we're all, you know, I mean, whether you want to pay a lot of attention to it or not is your prerogative, right? But at the end of the day, nobody wants to live in a world of shit. And that's what's driven me this whole time. Why do we live in this world of shit? I don't care how great somebody's life is. Everybody else's life isn't great. Why? That's the question we're all trying to, you know, figure out the answer to.
I like that. I like that allegory. I don't know what you call that, but
yeah, that's it's a pretty good metaphor, I guess, if you want to call it anything. But you know, we're all trying to live better at the end of the day, and you know, there's a lot of ways to do it. You know, I mean, you could say I'm catering, you know, with all the stuff that I'm doing in the quote unquote real world. You could say I'm catering to those people that I'm talking about. But the reality is that I'm not. What I'm actually trying to do is kind of get around the gatekeeping. That's actually the goal. Because how do you actually create mass adoption for crypto? Well, we got to give them avenues to bridge that value into the market. It's not going to happen because some regulator wants it to. We got to make it happen.
You mean central planning isn't the best way to do things?
Correct. Imagine that. Some people still think that's the case, and that's even within the community.
Visit Cambodia. I've been there.
Sad. Yeah,
they got some horrible museums, unfortunately.
Yeah, and look at all of the artifacts that exist within that region alone. Anybody that knows their history knows what I'm talking about.
You're getting me in the dark place right now. I'm like thinking about all the. Whew. Maybe don't visit Cambodia. Maybe not. Right. I gotta get to the questions. Chat's gonna kill me if I don't get.
Go ahead, brother. Get to him.
Matt S. Wells, do you advise keeping some liquid hex? If so, what percentage?
Well, I mean, I guess at this point, yeah, because Maxi, right? It's already so overpriced, right? You like, so how does this derivative thing work? God damn it! Hold on, guys. Fuck.
Well, we know you're not in the EU because Richard's alarms are ambulances are different.
Right.
Reminds me of
that one one stream.
There have been a few where he's like, he kind of ignores it usually. Sorry. Anyways, question.
It's all good. Look, right on time. These people don't stop out here. What the hell was I even saying? What was the question again? I'm sorry.
Do you advise keeping some liquid hex?
So, how does the derivatives thing work? All right. So now you got Maxi that's loaded up with Hex, and the minting phase is over, right? So now you have the option of choosing between Maxi and Hex. But what's the optionality there really? Well, if you buy Maxi, you're buying into the math behind that code, right? And that math is being extracted in real time. So that value is being extracted in real time because people are overpaying. Even though they don't know it, they are. Right. And if you look at Maximus.cash and you look at the dashboard, it tells you right there how much you're overpaying. It's like over 80%. That's
They're
how much
overpaying for Maxi?
Yes. By over 80%.
Yeah.
And the thing about it is, well, do you sell your Maxi? And I mean, the obvious answer is no, because there's a 15-year term on the math. But now there's a reason for Hex to go up in value because Maxi is so overvalued. In a real world situation, because crypto is not the real world, right? And that's something that people can't comprehend.
Yeah.
Because if it was, you wouldn't have to promote Hex. It would just be number one because it is number one. So the space within which we operate is not actual reality. Because what happens is you have marketers promoting the space, not actual crypto people. This is what what do they call them? These coin ranking sites are, right? They're marketing sites. They're not crypto sites. I've literally had to point this out to people that do our accounting and some of the projects that we work on because they need to understand that when they're using our data, using data to price anything, it needs to be the correct data, not the incorrect data. So what that means is if they're using something from a place that is not professing to give you accurate information, they're liable, right? You can sue them in court for penalties and for equity, basically. It's the legal term for getting your money back for the missed gains and all this other stuff. And guess what? They just pay because they know that that's what's coming. So nobody wants to put themselves in a hole just for being dumb, right? They stop using the incorrect information. And this is how you get around these gatekeepers. You make them irrelevant. Because in the real world, guess what? Now that we're bridging Hex into reality, can't be ignored. If Hex was all the crap that they say it is, you wouldn't have none of these things standing on it. And there's plenty of things being built on it. So pretty obvious that it's a legit thing. And all we got to keep doing is bridging those gaps because people have it confused. They think that the crypto space actually matters and it doesn't, right? So that's kind of the bad spot that we're at right now, right? Because the market does not respect the math. So what happens is you got to bring people to the market that do. And that changes everything. Because how is Hex 84% undervalued or more versus Maxi? That literally makes no sense. Nobody's looking at that. Nobody's talking about that. So where do you think the trade is, Matt?
So Maxi is overvalued.
Yes, by 80+%.
And I'm just thinking, so the play with that's bullish for it's what you're saying, it's bullish for X.
Correct. Because why would you continue to overpay for something you don't need to overpay for? Makes no sense. So you buy Hex. You're welcome. Because what do you think? What do you think? What do you think those other guys are going to do? Because what's the point? The point here is you're buying. If you got Hex and it's not staked, well, one, that's a mistake. But if you want to keep it liquid, that's on you, right? But either way, it's undervalued. So that's just the math talking. Because Maxi can't be 84% overvalued and Hex be 80% undervalued. So the market has to adjust in some way. Now, clearly, the math is saying that the liquid Hex is just liquid, right? It's not accruing any yield, but you can stake it at any point in time.
So
So the optionality is there to earn that yield as well.
do you think the reason Maxi's not being sold down as much as Hex is because there's so much more Hex holders, Hex, people with liquid Hex that can sell it and have incentive to, or otherwise?
Well, you got to realize you got a lot of people in this market that have been around. They got stakes ending that have 1,000Xs in them, right? Like they're not
Yeah,
losing any sleep over dumping millions of Hex when it's six figures, and they got millions of Hex left,
right.
right?
That's what I was thinking. Maybe that's why Maxi is one of
So
the reasons maybe
overvalued.
it's so overvalued is because
Hmm.
Hex is so much easier and so many more holders, so many more people who can sell it down
Yeah,
as we've seen.
that's a fair assessment, right? Because the market is vast. Again, it's an ocean, right? And how do we control the how do we control our wave that we're riding? By controlling the decisions that we make. That's
Yeah,
the only way. So, the question then to you, the end user, is do I want to hold something that's going to price in math, or do I want to hold something that is going to just be liquid and the market's going to have to drive it? Because the market might not drive it like it's not driving it right now, right? Because what do we see? We see people coming up with all kinds of cash for everything but Hex. That's what I see. But that's just me.
yeah,
Interesting,
yeah.
right?
I wonder if so. You see some of these projects. You see like Hedron. I think it's coming out with some staking
Hmm.
features and stuff, or coins that are around in that type of ecosystem, because maybe in reaction to, hey, it's so easy to sell this stuff. We want people to hang on to it. We want to reduce sell pressure. We want add more fundamentals. Do you
Yeah.
think with Maxi? I mean, is that something with Team? Was it Team and Base? I believe.
Yeah, they got this whole plethora of protocols now.
Is that trying to make, like, you lock up? You think Maxi staking will be either coming or in the future to try to round that part out for the market?
No idea, but as of now, it doesn't seem like they have any reason to even be thinking about it. I mean, if it's
It's true.
84%
It's
overvalued, what objective is there to do that? Not much.
interesting. I like how the market can also provide motivation for new projects and features too. It's like,
Well,
Hedron getting shit sold out of it. Oh, let's do staking. I mean, not saying
yeah.
that's the reason why Alex did it, but like that
I mean, it's a
there's
good
more.
incentive for those end users that own Hedron. So why not if he can do it?
Yeah.
That's my point of view. Um, you know, it's interesting, right? Because again, it's one of those things. That's why Hex was created, right? It's to give people the ability to not wreck themselves by selling early. This is why staking goes from 1 day to 15 years, point two, right? And people still don't get it because what have I said already? Everybody's objective is to increase their net worth over time.
Yeah.
Hex is the easiest way to do it without you even having to think because you just burn those coins and that's it. All you got to make sure is that you don't screw up your private keys and your seed phrase, and you're good. And that takes a little bit of education, and most people aren't even willing to do that. So, how the hell do people think that if they're not willing to do that, they're going to increase their net worth over time?
Yeah. They're maybe fooling themselves.
Yeah,
It's
and
unlikely.
and this is the thing, how do we get to the point when we realize that we're the ones that are damaging ourselves from progressing? Because I had to make that realization. That and Hex didn't save me. I was making money before Hex, right? But again, the trader life is the trader life. When you make money fast, you lose it fast.
Trader's a generous phrase.
Well, break even guy, right?
Well,
That's
I was
what a
thinking
lot of
pleb,
traders
but
are.
yeah.
Well, that's the legacy side trading equivalent. And here's the thing: how do you get to the point where you start figuring out that that's how you make money? Well, you give yourself time. I figured that out before I found Hex. So only reason I've even found any kind of success in markets, right? Because how can you even assess anything correctly if you have never had any? You can't. Not possible. So you gotta have some type of idea of what's going on, how things are supposed to break down, what's the incentive, right, for people to fall into your line of thinking and ultimately acquiesce, right? I mean, there's ultimately no reason if I'm flat out wrong in line. Why would the market ever do anything I quote unquote forecast or whatever? How does anything happen that I forecast could probabilistically happen? It's because I'm weighing real world situations, where people are actually involved and mixed up in the scenario. You know, this is one of the reasons why HEX is so undervalued, because enough people don't know about it. That's how early we still are. And we that do, the mass, are not taking advantage of that opportunity, because look at where the price is. That's how you know. Because the sellers can only sell but so much. And at the same time, you see people finding money for other things. So how is it not going into HEX, right? And people can do whatever they want with the money, right?
Say maybe when PulseChain comes out, they'll be distracted from selling HEX and they'll sell the shit out of PulseChain.
Sure, but there's going to be a lot of buyers there.
Yeah, I'm interested to see I think it's what we're all looking forward to, the chart for PLSX, all that stuff. That's going to be interesting.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting, right? Because the market is literally waiting for it. Like, you can see these people are hurting bad. The volumes are down, market's down. Who's doing the buying? People
sacrifice phase going into a bear market.
Right.
Very hot.
Right.
Got a very serious question from Jerry X. Can you give us your best Yo Mama joke?
My best Yo Mama joke. Yo Mama's so stupid. She looked up the block and thought she was falling off.
All right, I have not heard that one. That's not bad. That's not bad. Top of your head, nice.
Yeah, I just made that one up. I don't think that one's. I don't think I pulled that one from anywhere.
Original content from Wales. Nice. Nice, man.
Oh man, remember those?
I remember getting on the computers at school and just being like, everything was, the computer was either for dirty stuff or it was for looking up jokes and dirty jokes, I guess.
Yep. It was for what was the word? Perverted type stuff, right?
That's what computers were for when they first came out, right? When the internet came out, it's like, I'm gonna look up all the most perverted stuff I can. That's a great way.
Yeah. Yep. Pretty much.
How can you impress your friends? Look up all the jokes. There you go. And tell them new jokes.
Look at all this cool stuff I found online. Remember the
God, teacher's coming. Teacher's coming.
Right. Were you around for the dial-up? Were you around for them days?
Oh yeah.
Man.
I first had 33.7, I think. Something like that. Before 56K. That was
right.
I had the internet and computers pretty early for my age, I guess.
Nice.
I imagine you too, probably.
No, I actually didn't. I think I maybe had computers. It might have been like 2000, maybe 99. But how advanced were they back then? I didn't have anything fancy. It was like a compact, some crummy old,
Presario. Remember that series?
from the 90s. They weren't nothing fancy.
Did you go to Radio Shack to get it?
No. My uncle bought that thing out of nowhere. Who knows? Somebody just probably threw it away and gave it to him, right?
It's either Radio Shack or I guess they have the trading sale back then. They had like just go down the street, somebody selling a computer type of thing.
Yeah.
No, Jerry, I don't think he can come up with another one unless he wants to. NFA, please, rolling up on those. Sorry, I'm trying to go through the comments. I know we're like 20 minutes behind, but I want to.
Yeah, because it's so that's the thing, man. This game is so complex, but yet so simple. But people are so willing to not. People are so willing to not do the simple things that we have to go in depth. Otherwise, I wouldn't have to. But because I know people are not gonna not do the simple things, or they're gonna not do the simple things, excuse me, I go in depth. Because we all want everything now, but we can't have it now. No matter what you think. Everybody that you see hex flexing waited 2 years for that shit. Period.
Or they just like saw the coin one day, bought a bunch, forgot about it, woke up and
Yeah. But either way,
just,
they waited, right?
yeah, they waited.
They
Proof
waited.
of wait.
They didn't just have it. And that's what people forget. I mean, you got people complaining about a 1 year wait. Like, what? Man, get out of here. Get out of here.
But I thought this was going to be a 2-month token deal.
Yeah, right. Yeah. When nobody ever said that.
Yeah.
So,
Matt's got a. I'm gonna get. I have some other questions, but Matt, chat, you're blowing up right now, so I'm gonna get to some of your questions first, and then we're gonna actually talk about some stuff I want to talk about.
Yeah, let me stay on cue, man.
No, it's not you. It's chat. You're too good. You're too good right now. FDIC insured USD on exchanges. What do you got on that?
Yeah. If you got more than that amount, okay, look, if you don't know how to do financial analysis, you should understand that the whole system is broken and broke. So you should not be relying on any FDIC anything. That's the whole point of crypto. And that's a pro tip. So you do yourself the best and keep playing on that if you want. Keep playing with that if you want to. I'm gonna mute myself here.
Sure. Is it 100K FDIC still, or is it
250? 250 now. But again, do you think they have that per account? Because let me tell you what. If we all go to our bank right now and try to take out our money, we ain't getting it. So
I hate going to the bank. You don't never know how they're going to ask you. I always hate when they ask you what you're going to use it for.
Yeah, it's not any of their business. That's a breach of your First and Fourth Amendment rights.
If I weren't so polite, I don't know. One day I'm going to snap and be like, "Is it my money or your money? You going to give me my money or not?"
I don't play those games.
Would you like to take your manager out
when
here
I pull
so we
up,
can have a chat?
When I pull up at a bank, I let the motherfuckers know, "Hey, I work at a bank. You don't need to ask me shit."
Ooh, I like that. Start telling them I work at a bank.
Tell them if you know your rights. Sir. You tell them. That shit ain't got nothing to do with you. They can do their KYC ML all they want. Right? But if they start getting proby and all that shit, just pull your money out. Get the hell out of there. It's not your business. That's their problem. Not yours. Because this is the whole point of crypto. People sit here and act like the US dollar is supposed to do them a favor. That shit is down 95% because you're a dumbass. And you think it's supposed to be doing you favors when it's not yours. Is a dollar yours? Who owns a dollar?
I almost think they own
it. Get.
I almost think they have a point. Like when they ask me that, I start like this meta thought of like, you know what? I think they actually own my money right now. Like I keep like why, and then I start questioning why do I have it in the bank? All this, and I'm like, oh, direct deposit. And, all the, I'm like, I'm in the system.
Yes, having money in a bank is dumb.
Maybe they have a point when they ask me what I'm going to use it for. Oh, is it okay if I use it for these? I want to do some remodeling. Is it cool if I use the money for that? Is that okay?
You can do what you want with your money, right? But you better know what you're doing, and that's the whole point. A lot of people are not willing to educate themselves, and this is how they fall into these traps. And they're always out here trying to ask people for the short answer, and there isn't one. Your situation is unique, so you got to know how to do what you got to do.
Exactly. Jerry's like, Leo's mom is so fat, she goes camping the bear side. Wow, Jerry, you did some Googling on that one.
Yeah, that's a good one, bro.
That is a good one. That is a good one.
Oh, man. So what else we got in terms of questions?
Yeah, I'm gonna queue questions in chat.
Because I'll keep rambling, bro. Don't let me ramble. Don't let me ramble.
No worries, man. Hey, your rambling is worth more than most people's rambling, so I'm okay with that.
Don't lie to me, please. Don't lie to me.
I told you I was gonna stop stroking the ego, but all right, I'm gonna start being mean to us
now. Yeah, it's funny because I really don't, even though people treat me all high and mighty, I don't take that shit seriously.
Duck and weave. Duck and weave well.
Yeah, it's so ridiculous. Yeah, we should always be ducking and weaving, right?
Hey, my first, yes, we should in life, metaphorically, and
Yeah, exactly. And this is why I don't take none of these accolades seriously, because what happens the day I start taking them seriously? Oh, that I think I'm never wrong. All I gotta do is talk and I'm right. That ain't reality, bro. What's wrong with you? Right? Because there's people that
yeah.
literally change their psyche to that type of ridiculousness.
I was a little, I think if you remember first conversation, I was a little nervous talking to you. I was like, oh yeah, because you are a shining light above most in Hex especially. So
Yeah, sure, I
I
get
didn't want
that,
to be like,
man.
oh, I really want to talk to him. I don't want to think I'm an asshole. And,
Nah. I get all that, but I'm a regular guy, just like everybody else. I'm
dude,
not Richard Hart. I'm not out here changing the world fucking with some code. I'm just some regular dude trying to share good information. That's it. I'm not nothing else. You know what I mean?
someone
So
gives you a compliment, say, hey, I'm not Richard Hart. I like that. I like that. Like healthy check. Yeah.
yeah, I'm not.
Well,
And that's a fact. So
yeah. You
people
could.
go ahead.
No, I just want to say you could also be maniacal like that too, and be like, "Oh, I'm not this like godlike person." I'm not saying Richard's a god or anything. I'm just like,
No, people try to treat him
everyone
like he
knows he's at a
is,
certain
right?
level.
But people
Yeah,
try to treat him like he is, right? He clearly knows who he is. He does not let that nonsense affect him either. So that's why people love him so much, right? He's so admonished for that reason. That people really like him because he's a likable guy. He's a really nice guy. The things that he does, and I don't mean for the community. I just mean for the crypto space in general. I would not. I would let all them fuckers burn. But he makes it his business to go out of his way and help those clowns, even though they full and well don't deserve it and should all burn. They should all burn. And that's my personal opinion, because what are they out there doing? They're out there lying to everybody on purpose. I say let them lie. Let everybody see them for the fool that they are, and you just stand aside, do your own thing over there. That's what I would do. But he has a different strategy, different tactics, and it's working just as well, right? It's working very well, to the point that he's up on Fox. So nobody can say anything, right? Because clearly
on
what he's
Fox.
doing is working, right?
Charles Payne.
Yeah. Now,
I
of
do like that
course,
guy.
yeah, I like them too, but
Are you talking about the questions? The
I
line of
expected a
questioning.
little bit better from him. I
You know what?
expected
I'm
I
gonna go the
expected
other
better.
direction. I'm gonna say I totally expected it. I know that
Okay.
anyone who Googles Richard is gonna bring up this
Sure.
stuff,
Yep.
and my response to hoping that there was a better line of questioning for anyone is just like I would just have good answers instead of like hoping they don't ask the questions, because they're gonna always ask the
Well,
questions.
of
Richard's never
course.
gonna be he's never gonna be this like there's never going to be like this internet erasing of all of his
No.
accusations, blah blah blah.
Well, what's
So
funny?
have
Well,
good answers,
but
and
here's a
he does
problem.
have good answers.
Here's a problem, and I hear you, and you're right. But here's the problem: any serious individual that looks at whatever those links are can clearly see that that is spam. That is the spam. In fact, on the
I'm
internet right
I'm gonna
now in
go.
2022, live. Not
I'm,
that
I'm gonna
links.
kind of yeah. I mean, a lot of it is spam, basically.
It is
On
spam, brother. I'm not
yeah,
making it up. He could sue them
yeah,
cats for spam because that's all slander and libel, man.
yeah.
Legit, legally, that lawfully, that is what that is. Okay,
I,
I'm not
I,
making this up. That's if he feels like it, he can take that shit to court and be like, "Hey, this is in the public. This is a lie. This is false."
he was gathering that
Yeah,
those links
he
and
he
stuff for a
was,
while
wasn't he?
though. Yeah.
Oh, how about that?
I will say there's one article that I respect. I don't agree with. I actually tried to reach out to them to see if they do interview, and I think they said they did some interview and didn't go well or whatever.
Doubt
So
it.
they want to come on. What was another
Doubt it.
article? I'm just gonna type in hex scam on Google. I guarantee it'll come up. WantFi, the one on WantFi. So this is the one I respect the amount of research they put into it. Obviously, don't respect the conclusion.
Mhm.
But this is the only one where I'm like, you know what? They did their research. I mean, their conclusion was false or not
They
fair.
they gave you all the goodies just to lie to you at the end. How about that?
Their conclusion was not the one they should have came up with. I'll say
Hmm.
that. I don't like saying right and wrong all this stuff. Obviously, I'm on Team Hex, but I'm like, you guys did a lot of research and you really put a lot of stuff together. I'm disappointed with your conclusion, but I'm not surprised. I'll say that.
Right. I mean, and here's the thing. What's the
So that's the one.
biggest?
That's the
Got it.
only one I'm like, okay, you guys did your research at least.
A brilliant scam. See, and that's the thing, man. I can't respect it. I can't.
It's hard for me to. I'll
Yeah,
say
I
that
hear you.
it's very
I
hard
hear
for me
you.
to.
I hear you.
I
I
don't
hear
want
you.
it. I wish it didn't exist, but you know.
Yeah, yeah, because you actually read it. I don't have that tainting my brain because I think even if I read it, my mind wouldn't change because what did they do? They went out of their way to give you all the facts, but yet gave you the wrong answer.
A
It's like
stay broke answer.
yeah, it's like a professor that teaches you all the wrong steps to this math problem that he knows is going to be half of the test.
Well, I wish they would come on stream so I could at least
Yeah,
just
well,
like
this is the whole point. When you know it's all lies and slander, you know that they're not going to publicly expose themselves unless they have a reason to. Why would
yeah.
they do that?
That was in their Telegram. They were like, "Oh, RH, because my on Telegram I'm at RHMaxi because RH Maximus was taken. Damn it!" But they're as soon as they saw my name, oh god, RH Maximus. And I was like super nice in their chat. I was like, "Hey, I really just want to talk. And, would you be interested in doing this or all this stuff?" And they just like, no. I'm like, all right, whatever, cool. I'll go away.
Yeah,
I'm
but
not here to like bum rush
force
you or anything.
anybody. Yeah, of course. But that's the thing, man. All these narratives surrounding Richard are slander. They're not real. So why do they exist? Why? Because it's
Give us a
serving
longer
some.
accumulation phase.
It's yes, for sure. That's what it's ending up being, but that's not the reality, right?
Yeah.
Because it does cause an impact. I mean, you got to understand this man is having to do things out of his character just to get the attention he deserves.
It is harder on him. I'll say I don't wish that pressure on anyone, and I
No,
definitely don't want to see him get more pressure.
no. I mean, it's not easy. Bad enough he's building the one thing the whole ecosystem is waiting for. The
I think I
whole
am objective to
ecosystem.
a fault sometimes. Uh, Jerry's got a question. I'm accumulating more t-shirts DCA basis. What do I say to my Hexagon friends that are like, wait till it goes to 1 cent, bro?
I'll tell them they can keep waiting with everybody else.
Get in that line.
Yep. That's they're never gonna leave that line too, so they can keep on waiting.
So many people it's like even real estate too. It's especially in areas that it's just if you bought people in 2012, 2013, oh prices they're too high. Wait till they go down.
Yeah.
Keep going up, keep going up. And now they're like everyone's like, oh, it's too high. Wait till it goes down. I'm like, you're in this trap. You're in this paralysis. You're never gonna buy anything. You're never gonna like make any moves. You're just like
never gonna make any money.
Stop you're never gonna making me waste my mental energy talking to you about this stuff. You're not going to do anything anyways.
Yep. Because here's the thing. Let's say you got a nice wad and you do think it's gonna go to 1 cent so bad that you really aren't even bothered to think about actioning the trigger right now. Well, what happens if we never drop below 3 cents and you just never buy? Are you really gonna just let it keep going to 4, 5, 7, 18, 29, 35, 70, 80 cents? Like people will sit there and just watch that shit go, bro. For sure. And this is why I just shake my head at people en masse because what they're not doing is what they should be doing, which is accumulating at these low prices, whether it's 3, 2, 1 cents. Dollar cost average in. That is the best strategy because this is the ground floor of something that doesn't have any mass yet. There's no financial mass here. We've only achieved a $3 trillion all-time high. The financial market is quadrillions of dollars worth. Who gives a crap about $3 trillion? We got a lot of work to do, people. We got a lot of ground to cover. If you think you're in and out of this thing in a year or two, you got no idea what's going on, and you don't even deserve to be here. You don't, because you're going to get wrecked and you're going to get left behind anyway. So just save yourself the trouble. Don't give yourself the heartache and pain because there's nothing worse than being paid and then not being paid. Whole lot of wishing at that point.
Yeah. Well, the question came up the other day, and I thought it was interesting. And it has nothing to do with technical analysis, just on the fundamental side for HEX. Interview with Charles Payne. Could that have set a bottom for HEX? is there any world where like, okay, now
Actually,
we make
yes.
TV?
It could have.
I thought,
I think that sentiment-wise, we were already at a bottom before that point. Structurally, I'm confident we've been at a bottom before that point also. When did that happen? What, last week? I was confident we were at a bottom before that. We're just going
maybe
sideways.
solidified it.
Yeah, we're just going sideways. I said that a long time ago. We just been going sideways. We hit 2 point something cents. That's it. We just going sideways now. So you either want to play or you want to get left behind. That's where we're at. I mean, when the market just stops on a turn like that, you got to pay attention.
That was that interview. That I think we'll be talking about the interview for a long time.
Yeah, I mean, it
was
was
referenced a lot.
I think it was one of his best, in all honesty, because he was able to give them the facts straight and to the point. You know, they couldn't really beat around the bush with none of that nonsense. And that's why I think it was one of the better ones. You know, a lot of the time those fools try to drag that nonsense out. They couldn't drag it out there because he was cutting them under their legs with the facts. And the market was reflecting what he was saying.
Only thing I would change is I wish he was in the throne. I wish he was in his comfort zone and the throne and to show everybody an airplane and stuff.
Yeah.
Only thing I would change, but other than that, his answers, his quick wit, it's just perfect.
I agree with that. Yeah, because he did an outstanding job of just nonchalantly replying, like, "Oh yeah, this nonsense again. Sure, blah 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 blah. Next."
Yeah.
And they came with that next question. They had no choice.
Mr. Penn pressed him on it.
Yeah, and then they cut it because they had no choice.
Yeah. So is there a cut and uncut version? I guess there is. I've only seen uncut.
No, I mean they cut it as in they cut him off.
Oh, okay. I thought they cut it for another segment or something. Okay.
No, they cut him off because he was giving them the goods. They had to get him.
We can't rattle this guy.
Yeah, we couldn't rattle him.
Yeah.
They had to get him out of there. That's exactly right. Could not rattle him. And that's the whole point. What are we out here doing? We're just telling the truth. That's all. That's floppy disk. How about that? Remember those?
Do you remember those? I
remember the actual floppy. Flop. Remember those? The first ones?
5 1/4 versus 3.5. Yeah.
Yes.
The 5 1/4 were super floppy.
Floppy. Those were legit floppy.
I wonder, like, the people are older back then. I wonder if they're like, 5 1/4. They these are great, and then 3.5-inch floppies come out. The ones everyone in our generation at least knows.
Right.
And the people back then were like, "What the fuck are these? What is this crap? Like, this is not a floppy. This is a hard disk." And they're like, we can't use hard disk. It's already taken.
Yeah. Because that wasn't floppy.
Yes. It was literally not floppy.
Yo, you know what's funny? The shape of that second 3.5, that floppy disk, that version of it is what we still see today all over for save, symbols.
It's true. Wow.
Yeah. Interesting, right?
Man, metal, plastic, and tape. I kind of do miss those days in a way.
Yeah. I mean, analog. I think a combo of analog and digital is the best way for the world to exist, not as it does now. I think it's too digitized, in my opinion.
Yeah,
and that causes a lot of problems, like data, privacy. I mean, the internet is just not built the way it should have been built, right? And people don't respect that enough.
Are you one of those analog LAN guys?
No.
You like your LAN analog?
Well, actually, yes, I do use landlines. Not landlines, but I do use Ethernet cables and stuff.
I meant like land, like physical property.
You
don't want to digitize your LAN wells?
Yeah, nah, I wouldn't advise that.
You don't want to live in the Walmart metaverse? That looks pretty cool to me.
You know what's crazy? I've been talking a lot about real assets and stuff lately, given the macro environment. And one thing I like to highlight when I'm talking about real assets and like the difference between real assets and crypto and why crypto is actually preferred in my mind is, you don't have to worry about a government coming and saying, "Oh, eminent domain. Thank you. Goodbye."
Eminent domain. Everyone look that up if you don't know what it means.
Yes, look that up and internalize that bad boy. Because when you don't run the show, which we the people at this present point in time kind of are, but not well enough, you're at high risk of losing whatever you got just because some random person feels like it. 5.25 floppy maxis went crazy.
5.25 and 3.5 maxi battles. My dad said he was longer than he was good, but
Yeah, yo, back in the day it was real. You had to change everything, not just one thing.
Serge, are you talking about the floppy disk failed projects? I don't know what context you're. I mean, were they failed projects? I mean, I would say like the tape they had. What was that? They had. I mean, there's a bunch of other tech things back in the 90s.
I feel like that was evolutionary, part of the process.
Yeah, I wouldn't call floppies failed, but I would say there's. I mean, you got Betamax. Obviously, that's like the canonical example.
Yeah.
Man, what was those like? Those zip drives? Yeah, those. I mean, I guess if you had to call a failed project, zip drives maybe.
That was definitely a failed project for sure. I hate them still to this day. Nobody liked them.
Yeah, there's like always knew that one guy who's like, oh, let me give you
yo,
and I'm like, I can't read
why?
This thing.
Yeah, like why are you that person? Stop it.
Well, so they did have, instead of holding 1.4 megabyte, I think they could do like 100 megabyte. And so that was like, oh, I can put so much more stuff, which is comical now. And then CDs came along and just murdered zip drives.
Yeah,
it never even got to call on because 700 megabytes on a CD CDR.
Yeah,
and the DVDs is like 4.7 gigs, and and then everything went digital. Everything went zip drives. Everything went Bluetooth and.
Yeah, that Bluetooth was crazy. Yo, when I got back from Iraq, I think is when I came in contact with the Bluetooth for the first time. And this was like 2004. So yeah, I was like, what? You can talk without wires now? This is fucking great. Because back then that's how they were using it. Well, I guess that was the main way. I mean, I guess that's how it's still used. I don't use wireless headphones anymore, so I got no idea. But that's what it was. But back then, it sucked so much that I really couldn't give a rat's ass about it. So my love for Bluetooth was short-lived, unfortunately.
I'm surprised it's still around. I think I think Apple has like heavily subsidized. They've integrated into the whole ecosystem. So now I don't think it's ever going to die. Not anytime soon, because Bluetooth is everywhere with Apple products, at least.
Yeah, it is. It is. Yeah, I don't use wireless anything unless I have to. Like, it's just not a good thing to be doing. Yeah. But
you don't think Mt. Gox will have any effect on the HEX price to the downside? It's a question from Wes.
I would say no. And if it does, it'll be short-lived because HEX is completely unrelated to Bitcoin. So unless you have a reason to sell both your HEX, if you have a reason to sell HEX because you got your Mt. Gox bag, I don't know. I don't really know what to say to that.
Interesting question. Yeah. I just want to post this because it's fun. I'm going to go to a damn document here in a second. I swear. But the chats, they're killing me right now. So many just funny ones, and he's like QWERTY and years ago, and then far out's like 2 fucking horse taxes.
Yeah, right. Give me that chariot or that carriage or whatever.
So funny.
Right.
Oh, I know what Serge was talking about now. Thanks, Corey, for the clarification. Serge was talking about HEX. That's funny.
That? Good for him.
That's funny.
Because he doesn't know the difference between a product and a project.
Serge, we didn't even know what you were saying. You actually contributed in a positive manner, so thank you for that.
Yeah, man. Thanks a lot. We appreciate your efforts.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Question. You want to before the bombs go off again. Current macro environment. I know you want to talk about that. What is the like? Should we assume bear for longer? Is there any hope short term for reversal? What do you got?
Well, it's interesting because right now the dollar is really wreaking havoc on the world. Interest rates are wreaking havoc on the world. Everybody is feeling what's happening in our domestic economy because of the, floating exchange rates with currencies, or foreign exchange rates, floating foreign exchange rates. So, keeping that in mind, you see the dollar at all-time highs with no signs of slowing down, with no reason to slow down because of all the printing, right? All that printing has to do something, has to go somewhere, right? And while the Fed might have stopped in some instances, it still continues to do so in others. And what's actually going on is that you're seeing. Hold on.
No worries.
So when you're thinking about what's actually happening, it's like they're trying to drain this tub from different places while still filling it up from other places, right? That's really what's going on in the market right now. So it's a little confusing. So while people are thinking rates might go higher persistently in the near term, you got to understand how these markets fluctuate, right? We're reaching a point in time where economic factors are now taking hold. And what do I mean by that?
Yeah.
Companies are showing lacking profits. Companies are going bankrupt. Companies are
Layoffs.
laying off workers left and right, right? All these things are happening in real time. So the odds of interest rates sliding lower have increased once again. So that is to say that you could see the long end of the yield curve actually go down in yield terms, which means that
Mm.
the price of those fixed income instruments goes higher. And that's just how those types of markets fluctuate. But what's happening? You know, the financial system that we've known for the past 50 years is really coming to a head.
Yeah.
And what's going to happen after that, we're going to see these volatile interest rates move through time because, you got to realize they've been playing these games that they couldn't afford to play. And now the debt has been called and the world economy is calling them on it, and that's the dollar.
Well, why
That's
can't they just keep pushing it off? Why can't they just keep borrowing against it, keep pushing away the debt for
because
another day, kick the can down the road?
because who's going to pay them? Who's going to take their dollar? Nobody's taking their dollar already. They already stopped using it. They can't kick the can down any longer. They don't have anybody to play with in their sandbox.
You think they're
The,
out of leverage
they
to
out.
pull
They
on
are
other places?
completely out of it.
Hmm.
Look at the EU. Look at
Not doing
all
so
of the
well.
yeah. Look at all the countries that side with the West.
Well, are the ones siding with not the West doing any better though?
Yes, structurally, yes.
Good. And you got any good examples for that?
Look at Russia. Russia isn't hurting monetarily speaking.
Yeah, that's
Funny, funny, right? How about them
they seem to be
sanctions?
doing fine.
Yeah, how about them
Weirdly
sanctions?
enough.
Yes. So, it's understanding these economic realities that separates people that understand the game from those that don't. I spent a long time on Wall Street trying to figure out what was the next trade after that major crash of 2008, 2007, 8, right? And that's what all these guys are trying to figure out now because nobody really understands what's going on. Everybody's stuck in the past thinking that this is some temporary shit. And I'm afraid to say that what we're about to experience is transitional, i.e., consistent
Mm.
change moving forward. Everybody's comfortable with their USD unit of account. I think people need to learn that units of account are variables, and variables change with time. Yes, yes.
Yep.
And I
That's
don't
the
think
definition
people
of variable. Yes.
correct. Yeah, and I don't think people respect that enough. So they might learn a life lesson here really soon, just like America and the world did in the 70s. But the question is, who's in control, and that's hard to say at this point in time.
Will people get more comfortable with USDC?
Unfortunately, people are already comfortable with USDC, and BlackRock is the asset manager, so that's not positive.
So that's the control side. Okay. No.
That they got admin keys, don't they? Yes, they
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
Yes, they do. So for whoever loves to sit in stables, you better learn what crypto is because that's not part of it. Good luck with that.
What that's a good question though. So would you recommend DAI or would you recommend something
I
else
don't
if you want to get out of
I
volatility
don't
or something like
recommend
that?
anything with admin keys. How about that?
Yeah. So stables without admin. better.
You can do stables if you like. I say find a crypto that is actually a crypto. That's what I say.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. You're probably thinking is like not even in the realm of stables. It's more
No.
like why do you need stables if you believe in the crypto?
Correct. When I first came back into the market, I did not grasp the utility of fucking stable coins. And I'm talking about 2020, the other day. I had to learn and find out that people were using them in placement of the dollar internationally. Most people don't even know that.
Yeah.
That's the only reason it's so popular. It's a good unit of account to get USD with from crypto to fiat. And that's all. But what happens when that USD is no longer relevant?
So USDC goes down with USD, you think?
Yeah, by default, bro. Unit of account is a unit of account. You think the USDC is going to be special? No. It's replicating the dollar, so it goes down too by default.
I just hope we're not using the digital yuan.
Well, look, it's a variable. You can use whatever you want. The mission, in my mind, is educating people enough to know they have a decision to make, an option, and they make that choice. Nobody else. That's the point of crypto. It's not so other motherfuckers can keep your keys. That's not what this is about.
Not your keys, not your coin.
Yeah,
Burn it into your brain.
Yeah, it's not so people can ascertain your wealth by taking your keys and custodying your assets and whatever have you. That's not what crypto is. That's completely antithetical to crypto. You know, this is supposed to be software that you interact with and you conduct your affairs with, your financial affairs with, not some third party, not through some third party. None of that. We have to deal with that because people don't know their rights. If people knew their rights, they would not deal with banks. Plain and simple, because banks abuse their rights every day.
Came back to banks, didn't we? Yeah.
And what are the Bitcoin maxis doing? Bending over to banks.
Well, you mentioned the transition. So if we're in a transition, how does that? I don't know how does that play? Is there? I don't know. How does that play into the markets? How does that play into crypto? Is that good or bad in the short term, long term?
It's hard to say because a lot of people think they're going to be safe with cash. A lot of people are thinking they're going to be safe with all these typical run of the mill situations. But I think that what we're going to see is something that we don't know what to expect. That's what I think. It could be a completely brand new CBDC. It could be USDC. Mm-hmm. We don't actually know what it could be. Right?
Brian Armstrong could run for president.
Well, what's interesting is you're seeing people that have worked at Ripple and Coinbase. And whatever have you are in federal government now. They are able to make right policy, sit down on the table and say yay, nay. Like, these are the things that people don't pay attention to, but they should, because our future is dependent on what we decide. That's right.
Bob guy, a counterpoint for stables, but again, I think Well's point too, and I tend to agree. Of course, yeah, I think
you're thinking in USD terms. That's the problem. You're thinking in a unit of account that you earn money in, and that's not what this is about. This is about replacing that.
Yeah.
If you're not replacing that, then of course you're going to have this variability. The issue is the stable you're looking for, not the asset. The asset isn't changing in value. The asset just is. 1 hex equals 1 hex. And that 1 hex earns you more hex. Pretty straightforward.
Sure.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't deal with DAI. I don't know anything about it. I don't deal with stables, man. I leave that to you guys. You newbies deal with that shit. I'm old school. I don't fuck with that. So you guys have at it. Don't ask me about stables. I could care less. Good luck to you. You mean you don't understand crypto? I don't know. I really don't know. The only time I see people needing to touch stables is to get in the hex. So that's momentary.
Yeah, the whole fiat. So that's a good question too. Like, is there a way to get money? Like, how would we buy hex without going through some sort of stable or some sort of bank? Like, how do we do that?
There isn't a way. If you live in the U.S., it's all about jurisdiction, and I've talked about this before. And it's difficult. It's a difficult concept for people to really wrap their head around because they don't get it. But or not that they don't get it, but they don't deal with it every day, right? So you can't get it. So let me explain really simplest terms what it means. It's just like this. When you're in a country, you got to respect the laws of the land. Everybody that lives everywhere has different laws of the land to follow. So if you live in the US, you got a specific set of rules. If you live in Hawaii, not Hawaii, Jesus.
Hawaii,
Hungary,
also U.S. rules.
yeah, Hungary, you got a different set of rules. If you live in Czech, you got a completely different set of rules. Germany, right? No matter where you live, you got different laws to follow, different rules and regs. You know, the way they lie to you over there is different than the way they lie to us here. And you got to know how you're being lied to. Nobody on the internet can help you with that. All you need to do is know that you got to go read what the documentation actually says. If you don't do that, then you're going to believe the lies in the headlines. You're going to believe what some lame, quote unquote, chairman says, which doesn't even matter because in the court of law, it's irrelevant what they say. It's what's on paper that matters. That's how these things are fought and won. Not with opinions, not with feelings, but with facts and logic. Legal, lawful logic. It's important that people understand this because how do we get to a point of a quote unquote civilized society in the first place? How? People respected things that were written down on paper. We no longer follow that. That's why we no longer have a civilized society. Fact, not opinion.
Hey, we're gonna return back to glory as long as Nancy Pelosi, we have her on our team.
I mean, it's the whole gamut. She's just the head of the snake.
I
They're
need to trigger you one
all
more time. One more time.
they're all liable. What's up? Yeah, someone asked. Yeah, okay, sure. But again, you're thinking in USD terms. You can make that argument a million times. It's irrelevant because what happens when the USD fails? You can get 100,000% more hex, but then all of a sudden not be able to get any because that's how fiat works. And we're at a point in time where that's what you got to think about. Look at Venezuela. You guys better fucking learn. This isn't a joke. Everybody treats it like it's some fucking joke. It's not a joke. Go study how these things happen. It's like I always say, slowly, slowly, then all of the sudden. Look at Libya, Lebanon. Lebanon is the most recent victim of currency collapse. Go study them. Don't take my word for it. Keep playing with your stables. Good luck with that.
Yeah. I had a question there, but I forgot what it was.
Crypto was
all right.
made to make them irrelevant. You guys really need to understand that and ingrain that in your heads. Serious.
Goofy ain't
Serious.
playing around. Uh, yeah, that's what I wanted to get to too. Okay, I'm gonna ask one more because I'm gonna ask.
Highlight Corey's comment, please. Venezuela comment. People need to read that. Do people even know that Venezuela has the biggest oil reserves on the freaking in this realm? Period. Bigger than Saudi Arabia, folks. That's Venezuela right now, in your face, real time. I suggest y'all read up ASAP because you're playing yourself. Keep holding shit, you get shit. Just saying, man. You do what you want, but you're playing a game that you might not win.
All right, we're gonna have to calm Wells down. He's getting.
Look, man. I figured out this was gonna happen 12 years ago, and I've not been wrong. And I can't believe I'm not wrong. I can't believe it because I saw it a decade ago when I knew nothing. I was just trying to figure out the mechanics of how the system worked, and the math spoke to me. It told me that the currency has to skyrocket before we collapse. So what does that look like? Well, everybody has to feel the pain. And that's what's happening right now. Everybody's feeling the pain. Every time you go to the pump, every time you go to the store, every time you move a single unit of account, you're feeling the pain. Isn't it interesting? Now let's think about this, since people want to talk about stables. Isn't it interesting that October 2021, September 2021, you got 95% more USD for your crypto versus today. Today you get 95% more crypto for your USD. The tables have turned and people still don't realize it and think holding stables is good. Where the value proposition of holding a stable has in fact collapsed in your face and you don't realize it. Because the goods and services out there in the real world are gaining USD terms. They're gaining in value versus the crypto. So these things that you're talking about are the things that are failing you. And you don't realize it because you're not looking at the whole picture. You got to look at the whole picture. When you go outside to buy goods and services, you're paying more. But when you're paying for crypto, you're paying less. What do you think is the thing to be picking up right now? Keep holding your stables if you want. Learn the game. You're going to get left behind. I mean, people got to really learn how to look at this. Nothing happened to HEX. Something happened to the dollar, though.
Yeah, that's. I think it's such a unintuitive concept. Like when we think about money and think about what we price things in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's just a great way to put it. Nothing happened to HEX. Something happened to the dollar. And other bits and pieces on that too. But that's something, if you can internalize that, it helps you understand the world a lot better. Like, fortunately, nobody knows how to think that way hardly.
For real.
Crypto taxes. Now tell me what taxes there are for crypto.
None as far as I know.
I know I heard you say that before, but I don't think anyone knows what you're talking about when you say that. Can you elaborate? I know.
Of course not. You know why? They don't read, even though I gave them links.
Should have referenced those links as well. But people
see,
people don't read. I'm like,
proving my point.
Yeah. But no, I think that's something that people talk about. They're like crypto, and I've heard you say it on, I've seen you tweet it before. Like, there are no crypto taxes. But what does that mean? If
it's all about what does the law say? It says you must report taxes on your income, not your crypto, not your digital asset, not your virtual currency. Don't say none of that shit. Now, never mind the fact that all of that is illegal. We're just talking from what's actually out there. When you go read the IRS code, don't say none of that. It does not. So what does that tell you? You need to learn how to play the game is what that tells you.
I'm trying to think of is there one example of the IRS coming after people who didn't report?
Bro, I don't know.
Taxes? Wouldn't that invalidate?
I don't know.
That?
If you don't know how to defend yourself.
I don't have any on top of my head. I'm just thinking that.
If you don't know how to defend yourself, you don't know how to defend yourself. Because number one, how are they going to know? By you telling on yourself.
I do hate that fear system of like.
That's how it works. It's called manufacturing consent, sir. This is why you got to know your rights. This is why you got to know your rights. And this is why you hate the system of fear, because you don't fully know your rights. You got to know your rights. You got to know your Bill of Rights. They exist for a reason. Those are the things that they cannot touch. They got to eat crow as long as those things exist. And guess what? They can't not exist because you're born sovereign, man. You're born free. It's you not knowing that you are that puts you in that position of weakness. You're not weak if you know your rights.
I like that. All right, I'm gonna take a break triggering you.
You're funny.
I think a lot of people need to they need to hear that though. I mean, myself included. I need to hear it. It's good for me, but I think a lot of people need to hear that what you're saying. It's
Well, it's
in that
about
way.
understanding the process, right? It's about understanding the process. And that's
Yeah.
the only way we're going to be able to move forward, because if everybody's letting the government lie to them, well, we're all going to be subjected to fake stuff that we don't need to be subjected to. I'm not out here giving my money away to nobody. Nobody else should be doing the same thing, or everybody else should be doing the same thing. Why are you out here giving your money away? People are out here planning on giving their money away. They need to learn how to read.
Yep.
That's the only solution. If you don't know how to read, your accountant is going to screw you over. Everybody's going to screw you over because you don't know what you're doing. You better
Who else
learn.
needs?
Go ahead.
I say who else needs to fail before we hit max pain? Before I know maybe you said maybe Hex has bottomed, but the crypto market in general, what specific companies or industries need to drop more? Like, how do we get to max pain?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. I've been thinking about that lately. Like, what's left? I mean, we know we got this Mount Gox thing rearing its ugly head. I guess the question there is, are they actually going to allow the trustee to release the funds or the Bitcoin? Because that's what has to happen. And I think that happens via court order, if nothing else. It doesn't happen just because it happens, like it has to happen for a reason. Even if there's a date announced, right? Because they've been at this for years. They've been releasing these Bitcoins since, I don't know, 2016, 2018. I can't even remember anymore when the first time was that I saw something on this. But this isn't the first time, so it could not be the last. And that's something people got to understand. It could just not happen. So that's the probability of us not seeing 11K. I still think we're gonna see 15, 10K. Um, Simply because there's still a lot of lies being shared out there. There's still a lot of hope left in the market, believe it or not. And the interesting thing is who's left to buy? Nobody. There's still people left to sell, though. Something to think about. Now the question
Yeah.
is, how does it affect Hex? Well, does it? The only time you really see Hex moving with the rest of the market is when emotional buffoons decide to sell millions of Hex in one shot. But then if you look at the market lately, what do you notice? Well, what you notice is that even when people are selling 6 figures worth of Hex, it doesn't really do much to the price anymore. Something to think about.
Yeah, that is something I've noticed. If you follow Hex and you see the buys and sells and stakes and stuff, there's been a lot of we haven't seen it go below 3 cents,
No, we
and
have
there's been
not.
a lot of selling.
And people are still waiting to see 1 cent. Good luck with that.
I literally try to be I try not to fool myself into thinking the market's gonna reverse anytime soon, and I want to be pleasantly surprised in that way.
It could go
And
sideways forever.
I'm not trading for the most part anyway, so it doesn't really matter for me. But I always think that is there something that if we did bottom and we're not going any lower, and Hex is if the bottom for Hex is 3 cents. There's going to be a lot of people who are not going to get in before it goes back up. It certainly seems like.
Yeah, those are going to be the people buying higher.
Yeah.
So,
What gives us the most bang for buck in growing holders for Hex, growing stakers? Is it fiat on ramps? Is it institutions? Is it marketing, media, easy on ramps? Do we need a call center where people can call in and get Hex support? Like, do we need a brick and mortar store, Apple style, and just in New York or something like? People walk in and buy Hex. Oh, I'd like to buy 1,000,000 Hex, please, and stuff like that.
Yeah,
How do we grow this?
This is an interesting question because in all reality, it takes all of it, right? But at the same time, sentiment needs to be there. The community aspect of it is pretty important too because it's how crypto exists. Without us, there is no crypto, because otherwise it's just centralized institutions. So it's honestly a combination of everything. Um, the bigger issue is that people think that they could breach or make any kind of logical sense with these crypto folk, with the fake promise coin, with the promise coin space. That's fake crypto. That ain't real crypto. No matter what people want to think, that is not real crypto. They are just projects until further notice, and that's okay. But it's not a true peer-to-peer finished product with no admin keys. It's not. The standard has been set. So the standard has to be met, has to be respected. Otherwise, we're disrespecting our own pockets. Yeah, we can't convince crypto users that don't want to learn. So they're irrelevant. That's why you get the North Corners. And there's 8 billion of them versus a few million of the fools in here. So I think you're best served following the law of large numbers. If you don't know what that is, look it up.
So could you present that? Could you present that same argument to Bitcoin growing? Like, how is HEX? How would it differ when you're talking about HEX versus any other crypto? Especially the bigger ones.
Yeah, that's a good question, and it's real easy, right? Because what is cryptocurrency at the end of the day? Software. The best software is always going to win. Always. We see it in every market. Apple took over everything, and it isn't just because of the cool design on the hardware either.
It is nice.
It's nice to use. It's easy to use. It's intuitive. You don't think the best money is going to win? I mean, I think if you don't think the best money is going to win, I think you're a moron. I really think that. And I'm not even being coy about it.
You're not being flippant.
No, I'm not being flippant. I'm not being flamboyant. I'm not being flagrant. I'm not being belligerent.
Don't be floppy.
Don't be floppy. I'm not being anything. I'm being very serious, right? Because think about it. What do people like to see in markets that they never see, but yet always talk about and wish they had it? An uncorrelated, consistent asset.
Yeah. You go have a meeting with any person in business finance that got a lot of money to invest. They hear that's something that Staked Wealth and I talked about, and he mentioned they want to hear uncorrelated asset. That's what they're looking for.
That's right. I got the data to prove it. So clearly it's not made up. And I mean, we're talking across the diaspora of markets. It's not just equities. It's not just commodities. It's not just food. It's not just this. It's not just that's everything. Fact. Now, why? Because we have a consistent measure of value that's consistently operational 24/7 all the time. What do you think that's worth? Honest question, right? Like, people got to think about that. What is the value of a piece of software that always works and does what it's designed to do? I mean, that doesn't exist, mind you. But that's the sales pitch,
yeah.
Okay?
I mean, 99% exists, and AWS with Amazon. And look at Amazon, how well they're doing. So, software that works all the time and creates a ton of value and/or productivity tends to go up in price.
Well, that's the sales pitch. I don't need the name HEX. That's what people get it wrong. They think the name matters. It's irrelevant. All that marketing shit is it's momentary, it's temporary, it's transitory. They got to keep that up. Otherwise, it falls to the wayside. And what do you think happened to Doge after it topped out? I mean, it's like people don't know. Because that was the talk of the town last year. Meme coins. People are still trying to pump that crap.
Elon's coming back on SNL. Doge is going to Mars, okay? I don't know. You need to get on board or be left behind.
All right.
Going to Mars.
Let's see. Will PLSX and PLS and PLSX have value before the bridge? Sure. Just against the other coins. Do the math. That's all you got to do.
Ratio trading.
You can't get it out in dollar terms, but you can make up a number. Doesn't matter.
You think people are going to be irrational with that? You think the
Hell
trading's going to be
yeah.
crazy?
Hell yeah. What? People are waiting to wreck themselves, man.
7-1 PLS for Hex. You think it's possible for like for 10 minutes? I gave you a big number, I know.
Nah, I know. I'm thinking. Like I'm trying to rationalize that because it's always consistently 3-1 on the testnet, but testnet isn't real. It's not anything you can really bank on. So I'm just thinking, like what's the logic even for it to be valueless now? Because like when I do the math in my simulated prices, PLSX isn't that much off from PLS. It's probably maybe 10-20%. It's not a 3-1 or anything like that. So that's what reality is showing us right now, based on what exists in the pools and temporary data or preliminary data. So will the market really punish PLSX that bad because people want PLS that bad? Maybe, because I know people want PLS bad.
PLSX seems like the third man out in that way, right?
Yeah.
Weirdly enough, it says nothing about its intrinsic value, if you will, but
No, it
it's
doesn't, and that's the funny thing
crazy.
because I'll be picking up if it does do that. I don't mind swapping some PLS for PLSX. I like
Well,
to go opposite of everybody else.
Just on the point of, let's say the value for PLS is just insane because the FOMO, nobody got in on the sacrifice, blah blah blah, compared
Yeah.
to PLSX. You think PHEX is going to just be beat to shit and like that, and if you have PLS, you're going to get an insane deal on some PHEX.
Well, if you're smart, you will, right? Because people always make irrational moves, and I do know that people are going to have HEX to, swap for PLS on that side, and it'll be maybe a mistake, maybe not. I don't know, but I like cheap HEX, so maybe we'll get lucky. But RH said he's going to do his best to not see that, so it'll be interesting because what's happening after the market goes live, right before there's a bridge. Well, they gotta put the price on, right? So that means they gotta turn on the bots and turn on the market and all that. So all the liquidity providers have to basically pull their liquidity before they go live, because when they flip the switch over there, they're gonna buy up all that HEX that they don't want bought, or
That's a good
whatever
point.
coin that they don't want bought. So
that's gonna introduce some uncertainty, if you will,
exactly
into liquidity providers pulling liquidity for all the coins, for HEX, for
well, I'm concerned with HEX, but yeah, any coin you want to think of that people value, right, is going to fall in that bucket. So that, like, the launch of PulseChain could launch the next bull market. Like, people just don't get what's going on here.
That's a crazy game theory deal that I didn't even think about until you mentioned it. It's just the people who are expecting Pulse, who have anything to do with it, are going to be changing the way they provide liquidity around the pre-bridge, right?
Yep. They got to. If they don't want to lose the coins that might get bought up or sold to them, or they don't want coins that might get sold to them, whatever the case is, right? They're going to have to pull that liquidity because it's all automated, man. They're not going to be able to do anything. They're just going to be exposed. Their wallet is going to be exposed.
Liquidity providers out there, I hope you're watching this, or you watch some other stream that has that information.
How many viewers we got anyway? I'm just curious.
Oscillating between 50 and 60. Yeah,
not bad. I was hoping it would be a low number, so I'm giving out a lot of alpha.
If I had 2 wells, it'd be over 100. No.
Yeah, right.
That's how that works.
Sure it is. Sure it is.
Yeah, man. Just the last 5 minutes have been worth tuning in for the last hour, I think. Well, on that note, I think we'll wrap up. Just let's see. It's got to be one more good question we can get in though.
Yeah, the taxes is a really funny one, right?
Yeah,
because people really think that they know, but they don't know anything because they don't read.
Watch it. Watch that clip if there's a clip for it, or you watch the stream later. Everyone, watch that on 0.5 speed several times if you can't quite understand. It's
You know what? Let me look up the link too.
okay. Yeah, that'd be great. What's the occasional noise?
Huh?
G says, "What's the occasional noise in Wellsback?" I'm guessing fireworks or
Oh yeah,
poppers.
that is fireworks. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. So July 4th around
Yeah,
here.
I was like it's July 15th,
Nope.
but I'm sure they know that. I'm sure they know that.
Yes, they do. They just don't give a rat's.
Yeah. After you look up the link or whatever you like to do, Dimension X has a question as well.
Here we go. Let's see. I got so many links. Here's one.
Movie said.
I mean, read to your heart's content like Wales does. Let's see.
So
Just read through, man. Like they literally tell you. People just go off of what they hear. That's a big no-no. Title 26, the U.S. Code. Please look it up.
and I can't delete my own comment here. I can not. What the hell? I can put my user in timeout. All right. I'm glad I didn't post anything super sensitive. Jesus. One sec. Copy the links, folks.
Like, please, search this information, research this information. It's not new. Like it's out there online. In fact, let me give you this website, which I like much better.
Okay.
Look this up.
Don't be giving us a low hanging fruit. We need the alpha sites, man.
Yeah, this is a good one, bro. Hold on, because it really I'm just trying to find Title 26, so you guys don't gotta go looking for it on here. Here we go. Title 26. Bang. Just because it might have the most up-to-date information relative to the other site that I gave you. Because other sites still had like 2004 data,
Okay.
and this one, let me see. It looks like it has the same data. Okay, so it really hasn't been updated like that. Because it was just, the 2017 changes weren't that many. They were very few, and they're temporary. So I think they lasted like 2026 or something like that. I'm a weirdo. I read the weirdest shit, bro. Like, nobody rather know that.
You get smart. You read stuff other people don't.
Yeah, I guess.
Dimension X says, "Can you speak on the repo market?" That's something I thought about. I've heard recently too. It didn't even strike me as a big deal, but I've
Oh
heard a
man,
lot
I've
of
done
people
many
getting card
streams on
repossessed
that.
right now.
I've done many. Oh no, that's not the repo market he's talking about. He's talking about the repurchase market for the Fed.
Oh, my bad. Okay,
Yeah, all
yeah,
good. But yeah, that's of course is happening too, and that's putting stress on the market,
yes,
right?
yeah.
Because that's a reality. People can't pay their bills now.
They show you how they can't pay their bills when they stop making their monthly payments. It's a
And that's right.
big signal.
Yeah, and there's not much else they can do about it.
Did you want to speak on the actual repo
Ah,
market?
so now we're at the point where, and this is where they're draining the market. So the repurchase market is when the Federal Reserve goes out there and buys back or takes back loans from the market, right? And the way it does it is by saying, hey, we need to drain this market by X. We're giving you guys Y. Play ball or get, margin called. So they play ball.
Yeah.
And that's ultimately what it boils down to. And when that market breaks down, not a good thing. Now, he's talking about the reverse repo market, not really the repo market, because the reverse repo market is where the draining actually takes place. The repo market is where entities go to borrow. That's where they go to. So, what are they doing? They're taking short term loans to leverage their positions. Real time. Every day this happens. This is what the repo market is. So it's not like people are even making up the fact that these entities are living off leverage. Like there's a market for it, and it's called the repo market. And the average Joe isn't going to know that. They only know about stocks because that's all they talk about on TV. So it's fair that the average person doesn't actually know that. Why would they?
I don't want to know about anything but crypto.
Yeah, well, most people don't want to know. Yeah, most people don't want to go outside their sphere of interest, and that's the
specifically Richard Hart crypto.
Yeah, but I mean, here's the thing. Hold on, man.
It's all right.
All right. So, anyways, yeah, and that's kind of the thing. Like when you think about all these different topics and subjects, how do you ensure that quality of information? You can't. It's time and research. Because look at all the people that got wrecked thinking they were in crypto. They weren't. And now they're learning the hard lesson that they were not, in fact, in crypto. No matter how many times we screamed it from the rooftop, we were ignored.
Yeah.
So that's the price you pay for ignoring the facts. And that's why I stick to them. Yeah, because market don't care. It's going to do what it does.
Jesse Gaines has an interesting question. Do with it as you wish.
Yeah, that's a good one, right? Because they always talk about how the Constitution is this living and breathing document. But is it really? Is it supposed to be, in fact? And when you go to, let's see, I think it's the 9th. Yeah. When you go to the 9th Amendment, what does it say? Let's see. The 9th Amendment was James Madison's attempt to ensure that the Bill of Rights was not seen as granting to the people of the United States only the specified rights it addressed. In recent years, some have interpreted it as affirming the existence of such enumerated rights outside those expressly protected by the Bill of Rights. Now, what does that mean? Well, simply put, it means that you just can't deny basic human rights in any aspect or form outside of what's written there, like religion and whatever have you, right? Like the religious is the biggest one. Everybody always leans on that. Religious right. Oh, my constitutional right. But we have the right to free speech in every sense of the fucking word, in every sense of the term, in every sense of everything. And that's what that means. So the rest of those things are ancillary. They're not really real. And now, what does the 10th Amendment say? The 10th Amendment helps to define the concept of federalism, the relationship between the federal and state governments. As federal activity has increased, so too has the problem of reconciling state and national interests as they apply to the federal powers to tax, to police, and to regulations such as wage and hour laws. Disclosure of personal information in record keeping system and laws related to strip mining. So as you can see, the first 10 are almost like the first 10, like the 10 commandments. Hey, we're telling you the buck stops here. But what happened? Oh, well, we got this 11th Amendment, and then the 12th, and then the 13th, and then the 14th, and then the 5th. It's never ending. What are we at now? 26? 27?
Yeah.
Because I think one got rescinded. I think that's what the 27th is. Let me check. No law varying the compensation for the services of the senators and representatives shall take effect until. All right, that's some BS. I don't care what that is. All right, so now let's talk about the 16th Amendment. 16th Amendment states, the Congress shall have power to lay and collect taxes on incomes from whatever source derived without apportionment among the several states and without regard to any census or enumeration.
Hmm.
Does that sound like an actual? Does that sound like an actual amendment to you? Doesn't sound like it to
Hmm.
me after reading the 10th one.
Hmm. Yeah.
Sounds like
That's where income tax came from, right?
Mhm. Yep.
I'd like to see more cases challenging that, like, and actually going somewhere in court. Like that could be. Well, I don't know. At this point, it could be. I don't know. Do you think it'd be worth going down that road? Like, what if it was challenged? There is no income tax.
Well, the
You
problem
know,
is that we don't do it collectively as a people. Onesies and twosies do it. If we, a mass of 30 million people, say, hey, what the F is this? I bet you things would change rather quickly. Yeah, it's getting crazy out here.
yeah. It's
Right?
like, yeah.
But people just let things be for whatever reason. And this is why crypto exists. They can't tax crypto. It's outside of their realm of touch. How can they tax something they can't touch? That's why you have to report your income. You have to snitch on yourself. It's called manufacturing consent. That's what fear is all about. Right?
I'm just glad they didn't ban fireworks in your neighborhood.
I'm pretty sure they are actually. I don't
They're
even know.
like, fireworks aren't banned. They're manufacturing consent. I'm going to do fireworks. The rebels are in the streets right now as we
Right.
speak.
They're living it up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh
All right.
man.
I want to ask one more because I got to grab some dinner and then get ready for the dev/math panel that apparently I'm on. It should be fun. Should be fun too. But what gets us ungate kept in heck? Like what gets Richard Hart, his products? What gets our
People knowing
community
that
ungate kept?
people that knowing it exists, plain and simple, word of mouth. You know, the things I'm specifically working on, like the HEX Investment Trust and MCA, those are tools to work on that problem. Because what's MCA's objective? It's twofold. It's to onboard ultra high net worth individuals into crypto, i.e., HEX, obviously, and two, help Hexicans not get wrecked with their real life financial situation now that they are well off if they've been around long enough. That's MCA. So if we're onboarding ultra high net worth individuals, well, then over time, what becomes the new status symbol? HEX, not Microsoft Windows 95. Hint, hint.
Bitcoin.
Right. So what's the HEX Investments Trust goal? Is to provide people with direct access via legacy markets or currently a private placement because it's still in the private stage, but the goal is to make it public. Is to give people the ability to get in line and get some crypto that way so they can at least experience the gains in a form that's comfortable to them and not brand new. Maybe they don't want to hold their keys just yet, but maybe they want to experience some gains.
Yeah.
That's a way to do it. I mean, and that's how you get around these gatekeepers because they're not doing us any favors.
You almost like break through the noise, but also
Yeah,
just more.
right,
So institutions run by hexagons.
right.
That's what at least the angle you're
That's the
working
shortcut.
for.
That's the shortcut. Who can say no to an institution with tons of money? Nobody. They got to acquiesce. They got to bend the knee. It's just how it works. Always look outside. And we got the most money. We're going to have the most money. It's plain and simple. Because Hex doesn't stop printing, does it? Last time I checked, no.
Yeah. If you don't want the most money, just keep selling, and the most money will go to others.
So people do the wrong math all day. Keep looking at those stable coins. We're going to
Pack
laugh
the
at you.
stable coins.
Yeah, we're going to laugh at you. Because what's Hex
Man,
doing? It's printing more crypto every day.
you're about to
No
say printing more
fiat.
money. You're like,
No,
well, there is an inflation rate.
no
But
fiat is required. We just get more crypto every day. Everybody else got to go searching for fiat to get more crypto. We don't got that problem. Hint, hint.
that's what I love about Pulse coming up. I think it is the ultimate shiny object ecosystem to hopefully help people stay in and stop looking outside when it is boring, when it is bear market, when it is the time to learn, the time to reevaluate your decisions, and the time to look for good deals. Because they, what are these community projects I like? They're hopefully not scams. Of course, there's going to be some projects that are better than others in the community, but anything RH does, obviously, it's going to be a good. There's a lot of good community projects. We talked about Hedron and Maxi and otherwise. But I think that's going to be, for me, the ungatekeeping, of course, comes from the institutions run by people with their best interest to make HEX the most popular product on earth. But also just the enabling of people to stay in a community, in an ecosystem that keeps rewarding them, and they don't need to. There's always something going on. There's always something they can do inside instead of looking externally all the time. I think that's going to be a huge advantage for us.
It is. I mean, and that's kind of the thing, right? It's like, it's so easy to get scammed. Like, Hexagons get scammed all the time on Twitter. I see it. I don't say nothing, but I see it. And imagine in the real world, how much easier is it going to be in that sense? Even easier, because when you don't have any knowledge of real world things with real life implications, what's going to happen? Bad things. Whether you intend them to happen bad or not, that's just the way the cookie crumbles, because when people know there's money afoot, they're going to do whatever they got to do to scam you out of it. They're not worried about it, because they're never going to see you again, because you're believing all their lies.
So many people that want to sell you something. I think it's nice to be. I think authenticity is so rare and underrated in the world, not just in crypto, but in the world.
In the world, yes. And this is the reason we started MCA. We don't got to worry about that. And that's it. Tex-Mex, nice.
That's what's up, Chris. Tex-Mex. Yeah. I do love Tex-Mex.
Yeah.
Well, it has been an absolute pleasure, as always.
As always, my man.
I feel smarter every time we speak.
Well, let me give you one more link on taxes before we go, so people can just read this. Yeah, it talks about income tax specifically. Educate yourself, folks. This is how you learn. Don't just listen to me, because my thought process might not line up exactly with what your reality is. Because if you have an entity that's generating income, then yes, that entity must pay taxes. That's why the tax system exists, in fact. To tax corporations. So understand these things. This is why the income tax was levied thereafter, to tax things besides the corporations. So
yeah, funny enough, I think what's the story there that everyone was for the income tax back then. It got a lot of support because we're going to tax the rich, and then everyone ended up getting taxed, and it was like
guess when it got instituted. Take a while.
It was during the Depression, right? That was like one of the big
1913, sir.
Oh, so that was what's his name? Who was president?
Woodrow Wilson.
Wilson, yeah. I'm glad to be corrected on that. I was thinking it was around FDR, but it was Wilson.
No worries.
Well, shit.
It got expanded.
Oh yeah. The as they say, the welfare state got expanded
for the quote unquote Second Great War, or whatever they called it back then. Well, that's what it was about.
Oh yeah.
But all right, brother. We'll wrap it up so everybody can
have a good evening.
Get their digs on.
You going to the online conference?
Nah, man. No.
You gonna chill? You gonna relax this evening?
Yeah, sir.
It's a little late your time. Yeah, compared to me, at least. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Cool. Well, chat. You all killed it too. Appreciate it. Show this last one.
Yes.
That was a good one. Thanks everyone for coming. You all enable me to get these good guests. They somehow when number goes up, new people want to come on too. I know Wells would come on. Wells came on when I had like 100 subs. So never forget and always appreciate that.
My pleasure, man. I'm always looking to support the community.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep grinding, keep the content coming, and I'm gonna take a quick break before I get back on the stream. I'm pretty tired right now too, but nothing that food and coffee and if I had Tex-Mex, I would eat the shit out of it. Good stuff. Until next time, everyone. Everyone, go, if you aren't subscribed to Wells yet, go to his channel on YouTube. Go to Wells Only the number 1 on Twitter. And for myself, at RHMaximus, just the way it sounds. Like, subscribe, smash all the buttons. And yeah, it was a great show, man. Gosh,
Thanks.
I mean, I don't know how it couldn't be a great show. You are a fine gentleman, and yeah.
Thanks a lot, man.
I love
Appreciate
it, man.
it.
We need to talk more often.
Appreciate that, man. Anytime.
Yeah. And we're out.